So in the meantime, Gandalf goes to Isengard to ask his kind of companion, Saruman, who they're both wizards, by the way, to ask him for advice to kind of see, okay, what should we do? And Isengard, right away, the tower itself, we feel that it has this hidden darkness to it. And we get that with the sense of the character of Saruman. We kind of get this idea that that there's something hidden inside that's not as pure as Gandalf. And of course, this right away, Saruman reveals, he's working for Sauron. He's turned against Gandalf, and they have this fight, this wizard's duel, if you will, that is as entertaining, as violent as a fist fight. And it's excellent, excellent stuff. And these are two old guys. These are two guys that are in their 70s. Actors that are in their 70s, and even Christopher Lee is in his approaching his 90s actually today. But back then he was in his late 70s, I believe. So we right away with the character of Saruman, we feel this darkness behind his bright exterior, and it's great, great stuff. Once again, just this whole cast is fabulous, but Christopher Lee is another one to be included in that. And so then we're introduced to two more hobbits after that scene, by the name of Merry and Pippin, are their names. And we, right away, we get the sense that these four are totally, totally mismatched. We have Pippin, who's kind of the dopey one, the kind of one who always starts up the trouble. We have Merry, who's kind of along for the ride, who kind of, Pippin will start things and he'll say, okay, this is how we're going to get out of it, or this is how we're going to deal with it, basically. Then we have Sam, who's kind of this character who says, I'm going to be brave, I'm going to be brave, and he shows it bit by bit. And then we have Frodo, who is totally new to this. He never really wanted anything like this. And it's a brilliant, brilliant mismatch between them all, so that they all have their weaknesses and they all have their kind of strengths as they meet evil. And of course, at the same time, Sauron has sent out the 9 riders, Black Riders, I should say, to get the ring. And the Nazgul is what they're officially called. But yeah, just some great, great stuff there, tension-wise. Between, there's a scene, of course, where the 4 are hidden beneath this kind of downed tree, and there's kind of like this space underneath, and one of the Black Riders comes along, and Frodo is tempted by the ring. He's tempted to put the ring on so he can get away, but of course this will draw the attention of the Black Riders, and the tension of, okay, is he going to put the ring on? Is he going to put it on? Or, is the Black Rider, he's kind of getting, like, they're here, he's right here, he's getting closer, is he going to discover them, And the tension right away in this first part just is nerve-wracking. It's also seen again later at the scene at Bree, after the prancing pony and all that, and we're introduced to Strider / Aragorn. Where the Black Riders find him and they come to the room, and they kill, basically they try to kill him, and they end up only stabbing a bunch of pillows, and it's a big reveal and everything. But yeah, I mean, it's the tension right away set up in this film by Peter Jackson, the director, is enormous. And of course he gets this from a background sort of in horror films. He made a few horror films before this. A few of them I've seen, especially Brain Dead, which was actually, I think, more comedy than horror, but there were a few kind of tense scenes in that as well, especially toward the end of that film. And Peter Jackson's just a master at that. He's a master at getting us kind of all riled up, only for like a, almost at times, comedic ending of it, a comedic resolution to all this tension sometimes, and it's all the sigh of relief, and then sometimes it starts right up again. Especially true for the movie Brain Dead, but also for a later scene in the film, which I think we'll get to that here in a little bit. So yeah, there's this scene in Bree where they meet Aragorn. Aragorn kind of joins them as their leader. You know, he's the big guy, literally, since the four others are hobbits. And we, I don't know how to explain this, but I think it's just best to say that the more numbered they are in the group, you know, when Frodo and Sam were alone, you know, they pretty much had it easy. You know, they didn't have anything to deal with. And then when Merry and Pippin came in, that's when the trouble started. That's when the Black Riders caught on to him, and there were a couple really close calls with the Black Riders. And now Aragorn has come in, and now the peril is still very, very high. And it gets worse and worse. And, you know, I'll get to that here in a second. But then we cut back one last scene before the kind of the beginning of this film ends, and we kind of get into the second act, where Saruman, you know, hears from Sauron saying, "Build me an army," and Saruman, we already tell he's kind of struggling with this. Like he's evil and everything, but he still has this kind of sense of good to him. Because at first he just kind of sits around and says, you know, he kind of sits back and says, okay, he asks himself, can I do this? Am I going to do this? And then it's finally when a few orcs show up and say, you know, well, what are we going to do now? That he finally decides, we're going to go through with this, we're going to build him an army. And it's not really brought up ever again, where Saruman kind of comes back and says, okay, I'll be good now, or he kind of change of heart or anything. But it's a nice way of saying, okay, here's how this character builds from here he's good to here he's evil, and he just skyrockets up at that point. And then from now on, he's really a great villain for the film, and for the sequel, for Two Towers as well.